Hello, 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 and welcome back. Thank you for joining me on the Cryptic Manor channel. So today I wanted to address some of the recent controversies with the Balenciaga brand. Now, we all know that a lot of these fashion houses like to do avant-garde style of clothing and conceptual fashion shows that have a lot of imagery that people find controversial and sometimes downright strange. But when it gets a little too far is when you bring children into the mix. When you bring children into a realm that is meant for adults. So, Balenciaga knows that they did wrong, and they have issued an apology for some recent photo shoots that they did. I believe it was 2 different photo shoots. And so they're apologizing, but at the same time passing the blame onwards to someone else. And I'm asking you, if someone does you wrong and they apologize, but in that apology, they blame someone else, are they truly sorry? And is that a real apology? So if you go to Balenciaga's Instagram page, you'll find one post, and it looks like they have archived all of the rest of their posts. I doubt that they've deleted them all, but they have just one post available that no one can comment on, of course, because if you're apologizing, you definitely, a real apology, you want to hear what the person has to say back to you after you've apologized. But this isn't a real apology, now is it? Because they don't want to hear what you have to say after this apology. And it goes like this. We would like to address the controversies surrounding our recent ad campaigns. We strongly condemn Child A. It was never our intent to include it in our narrative. The 2 separate ad campaigns in question reflect a series of grievous errors for which Balenciaga takes responsibility. The first campaign, the gift collection campaign, featured children with plush bear bags dressed in what some have labeled BDSM-inspired outfits. Our plush bear bags and the gift collection should not have been featured with children. This was a wrong choice by Balenciaga, combined with our failure in assessing and validating the images. The responsibility for this lies with Balenciaga alone. The second separate campaign for spring 2023, which was meant to replicate a business office environment, included a photo with a page in the background from a Supreme Court ruling, United States versus Williams, 2008, which confirms as illegal and not protected by the freedom of speech the promotion of Child P. All the items included in this shooting were provided by third parties that confirmed in writing that these props were fake office documents. They turned out to be real legal papers, most likely coming from the filming of a television drama. The inclusion of these unapproved documents was the result of reckless negligence for which Balenciaga has filed a complaint. We take full accountability for our lack of oversight and control of the documents in the background, and we could have done things differently. While internal and external investigations are ongoing, we take the following actions. We are closely revising our organization and collective ways of working. We are reinforcing the structures around our creative processes and validation steps. We want to ensure that new controls mark a pivot and will prevent this from happening again. We are laying the groundwork with organizations who specialize in child protection and aims at ending Child A and exploitation. We want to learn from our mistakes and identify ways we can contribute. Balenciaga reiterates its sincere apologies for the offense we have caused and extends its apologies to talents and partners. So, that's their apology, guys. They are so sorry that they chose to put children in an ad campaign with teddy bears with leather straps all around their chests in true BDSM GIMP fashion. They're sorry that they did that, guys. They're making millions of dollars off of their products. They could have chosen anything to promote their products and people would still buy it, but what they chose to do was put children in the mix. And I believe it's because they believe that they can get away with it by doing it right in front of your face. The best place to hide something is right in front of your face. So it's definitely wrong. They definitely could have chose better options, but it was done on purpose. And I find it interesting in their apology. At the beginning, they say that they've made a grievous errors, plural, and they take responsibility. But further down in the so-called apology, they blame the documents and the imagery on someone else that they're filing a complaint against. We're sorry, we take full responsibility. Oh, but actually this wasn't our fault. They're saying that a third party confirmed that the props were fake. But it's Balenciaga's responsibility to determine what is going to be in the photo shoot and what is not. They take accountability. They should take accountability for that. But they're instead blaming it on a third party. And the inclusion of these documents, these court documents against child A, that was also visible in the photo shoot. They're saying that they're filing a complaint, but they take full accountability for their lack of oversight and control. So what do you believe? What do you think? Do you think they are genuinely apologetic? So another thing with this fashion house, why would you sexualize an object that is typically meant for children, such as teddy bears? Why would you sexualize it by strapping it in leather? And I do mean the leather straps that you would see like a BDSM or a GIMP put on around their chest. Why would you do that to a teddy bear? So they're not sorry for promoting that imagery. They're sorry for putting a child in it and letting you see the court documents in that photo shoot. But they're definitely not sorry for the bags that they designed, which to me look like sexualization of a child's toy. Campaign was titled Balenciaga Gift Shop, and it's a part of their spring summer 2023 collection. And it was shot by Gabrielle Galimberti. They are a National Geographic photographer. So they took the photos of the children holding the handbags that look like teddy bears, wearing the leather harnesses and spiked collars. This photo shoot was supposed to look like this. It's modeled after a photo shoot or a collection of photos called Toy Stories by Galimberti. And if you look at the Toy Stories photo shoot, it looks a lot like the Balenciaga photo shoot. You see a child standing above all of their toys in the Toy Stories photo shoot. All of their toys are neatly lined up. You see the child standing above it or on top of it, much like the Balenciaga ad. So they know what they're doing. They said they wanted their Balenciaga collection to look like this Toy Story's photo shoot. And for the most part, it does. Balenciaga told Gallimberti that they wanted the gift collection to be shot in the same style and that they would provide all of the quote-unquote punk objects. So Balenciaga provided everything in the photo shoot, the papers containing legal proceedings that actually occurred about Child A. They provided the BDSM style teddy bear bags. They chose the style of the photo shoot. They chose everything. I think they're going to continue to do this. They're not really sorry. When everyone forgets about this, when the next big thing comes along, they're still going to be making money off of their products. People are going to forget about this and continue to buy the products, in my humble opinion. I'm not, but other people definitely will. Also included in that photo shoot was a book by Michael Boremans. The book is called Fire from the Sun. And if you look at this book, it is pretty disturbing. It has some images of nude, infantile children, toddler-sized children, who appeared to be covered in a red substance reminiscent of blood. Some of the so-called art pieces, if you want to call it art, they have what looks to be body parts scattered around the floor with children in the picture. The body parts have blood on them. The children have blood on them. And it's just really sick and disturbing. And who would call this art? Balenciaga chose everything that was an object in the photo shoot. They chose all of the objects, so including this book. So it's pretty disturbing and disgusting. And I think they're just putting it right in front of everyone's face, like, hey, this is what we do. It's pretty sick and disgusting, if you ask me. So, for everyone who's trying to call out Kim Kardashian for working with the brand, she's not going to stop working with them because of this. Okay? She issued an apology, but in reality, her picture is still on the Balenciaga website as of today. The photo of her on the website shows her promoting one of their bags in a photo shoot. These bags are for sale. Her images are still being promoted on their website. It is a possibility that Balenciaga purchased the use of her image so they could continue to do this, whether she disagrees with it or not. But in reality, her cutting ties with the brand, that ain't going to happen. They're a source of income for her and a source of notoriety and fame. So she's not going to cut ties. What you can do is you can take the information and decide whether you are going to buy anything Balenciaga related or not. If you are going to purchase anything from these photographers who were involved in the photo shoot, if you are going to purchase the book of so-called art that was featured in the photo shoot, which contains images of children in very disturbing settings, you can decide if you are going to bring that into your household. So, as far as what these other celebrities do, you don't have to let that affect your decision making. So now I'd like to touch on how the rabbit hole goes a little bit deeper. Francois-Henri Pinault is the CEO of Balenciaga's parent company, which is called Kering. And Francois has a holding company, Group Artemi, which owns Christie's, the auction house. On the Christie's website, you can find a collection called Fuckface by Jake and Dinos Chapman, which features child mannequins whose genitalia have been disgustingly placed on their faces, rather than having a mouth or a nose. These mannequins are not new, and they were originally created in 1996. And the images are too graphic for me to include here, so if you'd like to see them, you can visit the Christie's website. It's lot 5709377. According to the Christie's description of the child mannequins, the work draws affinities from Hans Bellmer's dolls. When our sculptures work, they achieve the position of reducing the viewer to a state of absolute moral panic. They're completely troublesome objects. That is a part of their description of the mannequins on the Christie's website. And so Jake and Dinos Chapman got their inspiration from Hans Bellmer. And Hans Bellmer created life-size dismembered dolls, which he created the first one between 1933 and 1934. It's on the Tate UK website, the Tate Museum. According to Tate Museum, Bellmer was partly influenced by Jacques Offenbach. His final opera is called The Tales of Hoffmann, in which the hero falls in love with a realistic, life-size mechanical doll. In the film adaptation of the Offenbach opera, a young poet named Hoffmann broods over his failed romances. First, his affair with the beautiful Olympia is shattered when he realizes that she is a mechanical woman designed by a scientist. And so all of this is tied together because there seems to be a constant theme in what we might call the upper echelon of society of a acceptance of child lewd images. And these mannequins that were created by Jake and Dinos Chapman are very disturbing. These children are being portrayed with genitalia for noses and mouths. So it's just really hard to believe that that is considered fine art and it's selling for such a high price and has been for decades on the Christie's website. So who is purchasing this art? Why is it called art? And why is Francois Pinault supporting this? Some would say because he's the CEO, he doesn't have anything to do with the low-level day-to-day operations of the Christie's website. But I think when you're the CEO, you're the CEO. Okay, you're the chief executive officer, meaning you have ultimate authority. And so if this is going on, you definitely know that it's taking place. So be careful who you purchase your luxury items from. Let me know your thoughts.